Hey everybody, welcome back to LDRS Creative. We're in studio tonight and we're playing with the bundle. Yay! Yep, we have the new spring bundle out. If you guys haven't seen it, I'm going to be showing it off tonight. I actually have 2 cards planned. I thought about doing a third, but I was worried that we would be here too long and my husband would, well, he wouldn't be happy about that. So, and I have to live with him afterwards, so. Anyway, a big hello to everybody. I see so many people coming in. We have Kathleen Finnegan is here. Oh, Teresa Jarvis, I saw that you got your magnets. So I'm glad they arrived safely and welcome tonight. Gail is here from Sterling Heights, and Robin and Margie and Carol Weatherspoon. Hey, girl. Who else is here? Phyllis is here. Lori Langemeyer, who's also in Bloomfield, here with us. B is here, or Bia, I'm not sure. Dee Dee and Brenda and Sheila Fisher, Virginia Ellison. Who else is here? Sharon Gullickson, Susan Bates. So many people. I love seeing everybody coming in. It's so exciting. Who else is here? Terry Wiegand or Wygand, I'm not sure. Angel, Susan Whitey is here, and Jen, Sheila Fisher from Oklahoma in the house. Yay, Margie, Virginia. I think I already said hello to Virginia, so welcome again. Oh, Gail just ordered an organizer from HSN to try. You're going to love it. I actually started labeling some of mine, so I'm going to show you guys those tonight as well. And don't forget, you know, we do have the, oh goodness, I can't even think, those storage bundles. That's what we were talking about, the storage bundles for your stamps, for your dies, for your papers. It's the box, it's the organizers, the inserts. We are going to be getting more of the magnet sheets. That's going to be coming up. I think we're going to have them back in stock in July on HSN, so you'll be happy to know that those are coming. Those sold out so fast, and those are they're self-adhesive, really great, strong magnet sheets that you can use for your dies. So they're wonderful. And for those of you that don't know what the storage bundle is all about, take a look at it. Go to hsn.com and search for LDRS Creative. You'll see the storage bundle, but it's the box and it's everything that you need to get organized. And a really cool, there's 2 really cool features. I'm going to show you one right now just in case anybody's wondering. We call it Cling and Store because, can I get this one out of here? There we go.
It's clinging.
I was squeezing it as I was pulling the thing open. I mean, you know, sometimes you're just kind of like, what am I doing? I'm laughing at myself. But we call it Cling and Store because the inserts, look at my stamps stick right to them. So you peel off that back sheet of acetate and your stamps are going to cling right to it. So that is like the #1 coolest thing. And so that allows us to keep those pockets open so that you have very easy access to slide your stamps in and out of them, and you're not going to have to worry about losing your stamps because they're going to cling right to your insert. And then the other cool thing is that with your bundle, you're going to get a QR code that's going to give you access to over 250 design files so that you can customize it. So the boxes are white, but you can customize it with all these design files. If you have something like a Cricut or some kind of cutting machine like that, then you can use the SVG files, but we also have PNG files out there and JPEGs so that you can print and, you know, just use what you've printed on your printer, and you want to print to like a label sheet or a sticky back sheet. And then you can decorate that way. Or we've even had some really crafty people who have taken cardstock, like our 12 by 12 sheets, and use that to decorate their box, because the boxes are 12.5 inches in length, and they're 6.5 wide and 6.5 tall. They're really awesome. Go to HSN, take a look at the storage. We actually have a little video there. If you click on it, you'll see everything that I'm telling you about. It's really cool. So anyway, will you ever do a class on how to customize? It looks like Kathy is asking me. Kathy, you're putting me on the spot, darling. Yes, I probably should do that. I haven't thought about that. It's a great question. Yeah, I should do that. I'm not going to do like a Cricut class because I'm not an expert at the cutting machines, and that's not really our thing. You know, the Cricut isn't our machine. It's not something that that I would do training on or classes on or anything like that. I think there's a lot better Cricut users out there, other than me. But yeah, I mean, I could certainly absolutely show you how I have decorated some of mine. I tend to leave them white because I like everything really white, but I do have a couple that are decorated, and the ones that are decorated, I'll actually leave up on my craft space, and they just look so pretty. So, all right, so we're going to go ahead and we're going to get started. We're going to go overhead and I'm going to show off this new spring bundle. And I have a couple of I've got a little something to tell you about it, but we'll get to it. So we're going to go ahead and switch the camera and get started. Yep. Okay. So if anybody is wondering, we have this new spring bundle, and I'm sure that this has raised the question, are you guys going to be doing kits again? Are you guys going to be doing bundles? What's going on with all that? And yeah, we are. We're going to start doing it again. It's not going to be quite like the kits that we did before, where we had stamps and dies and papers and all that stuff in there. I want to keep it really simple, and I think what we're going to do, like this one is a stamp bundle. This one's maybe a little bit larger than we're going to go with all of them, but I wanted to fit Mother's Day and Father's Day and something for spring and summer in here, like vacation as well, and a couple of things that go along with the collaging and the stacking line that we started, that everybody is just, I'm loving so much, and I think a lot of people are loving it because we're getting a lot of questions about it. But yeah, what I want to have is, I'm not sure if it's going to be monthly or bi-monthly or how we're going to do it. We're still kind of working out those details, but we're going to do something with stamps, and then I think we're going to do something with dies. And it might be like, a stamp of the month or a die of the month or something like that. So we're working out those details, but it is to come. But this is the very first one. And the reason we settled on this, or the reason we did this, was because, well, we have Mother's Day coming, and we have Father's Day coming. And we've had so many people saying, are you going to have more of the stack and collage sets? Are you going to have ledgers, any more ledgers? What about all of the little, trinket stamps that we want to use to create visual texture and just visual interest on our tags and on our cards? And then, of course, with spring and summer coming, I wanted to have something that was vacation themed. And so I thought, you know what? Since we have so many questions about this and so many people asking for more, let's put together a stamp set, a whole collection or a bundle for it. So I'm going to take you through each of these. So, let's go ahead and get close up, Alan. I'm going to take you through each one of these. And then I actually have 2 cards that I'm going to make and show you how to use some of these. So this is the second ledger stamp. I'm going to show you real quick. This is my my insert where I have both of my ledger stamps. This was the very first one. The item number is 3440, that's ledger, and then 3466 is the new one down here, that is the ledger 2. So the first one, if you're wondering why would I need a second one, we did them in, one is in portrait and one is in landscape, and they look different as well. So this first one is designed really in portrait mode to work on an A2 or a 5x7 or whatever card, but more in portrait mode. If you wanted to change it and stamp it like this, you certainly could. There's nothing to prevent you from doing that, and it still looks great. But I wanted another one that was going to be intentionally designed for landscape. Again, if you wanted to turn it this way on your card, your project, or whatever, you certainly can. If you want to stamp multiples of them, you can. But these are the 2 ledger stamps. This is the new one. It looks just like this, ledger 2. And then on the back of it, we give you a little mom card showing you how you can set up, stamp with that ledger, and then use those kind of as guides to create a really fun collage on your card. So then we had Mother's Day, which is around the corner. And so everything in here has to do with mom. We've got some really cute things in here. We've got Mom Boss, Best Mom Ever. We have, of course, some, what are they called? What are these called? Definitions. Oh my goodness, I can't think. We have a couple of definitions. One is nurturing, the other is patience. Happy Mother's Day. Now, if you want to use this for Mother's Day, you certainly can. If you just want to create a card for your mom that says, hey, I love you, Mom, hugs and kisses, you were right about everything, you can certainly do that. It doesn't have to be Mother's Day. Mother's Day is only one of the sentiments in here, but this whole set here is Mother's Day because you can create a card for every day because every day should be Mother's Day. I'm just saying. So you can build flowers in here. We have a long stem here and a shorter stem here, and we have layering flowers here. We've got little butterflies, I love you, mom hugs, and the large love here with a real fun kind of rough font. Mixed fonts and mixed sizes, and it's just really, really fun. And then the other one, since we were going to do Mother's Day, we kind of thought we should probably do Father's Day. Now, this one is really fun. This one was harder to create. I mean, Mom is, I don't know if you noticed this one. It says a title just above Queen, and we have a crown here. Just saying. So here we've got Father's Day, and I wanted to have a set that was going to have maybe something in here for any dad. So, we've got, this is for Dad who, of course, Dad is our hero. We got Happy Father's Day in here. I love you, Pops. I don't use that term for my dad, but a lot of people do. We have Best Dad Ever, and we actually have a little like Superman, breastplate here that says Best Dad. This one says Superhero. If at first you don't succeed, call Dad. But it's got everything in here. The Grill Master, we actually have a grill, and we have the fire, the flame, that you can stamp on that. We've actually got some little utensils here too. Let's say your husband, your brother, your father, whoever it is you're making this card for, and it could also be, you could use this for birthday, by the way, too, for anything. Maybe there's a golfer, so we have the golf club, and we've got the ball, on the tee there. We've got a football, that's for my dad right there. We have tools in here also for my dad. The golfing is for my dad as well. What if the man in your life loves to fish? So we have the fishing rod, and we actually have a fish in there. The definitions in here are role model, and then this one is strong. And it's just really fun. Hugs and fist bumps, dad talks, it's just wonderful. So these are fantastic. One of the things to keep in mind too is all of the other stamp sets that we have in the collage and stack collection, because we've got, birthday in there, and we have kind of an all occasions kind of thing in there. You can mix and match between these. So if you have some of those, you can use some of the mom or some of the dad with those to create cards very specifically for, a special woman or a special guy, and it could be for a different occasion as well. So they're very versatile. These, again, I think are going to be wonderful staples to have in your collection. Now we've also got Welcome Sunshine, because, we're coming up on, end of school. We're heading into summer soon. And it's a great time to travel and vacay and explore. And what my husband doesn't know how to do, relax. But the definitions that we have in here, one is relax. We have vacation, enjoy, never lose your sense of wonder. I think that's really sweet. Live those dreams. The heat is on. You can build some scenes in here. So we have like a little dune buggy. This right here, these are palm trees, so you can stamp and build those together. Beautiful little birds up here. This is actually like a sandy beach, and you've of course got your little beach chair and the umbrella. They can go underneath your palm trees. You've got your sunglasses. This is a beautiful sun. We've even got some little flowers in a leaf here. So really, really great, very versatile. Again, you can mix and match with, between all of these sets. And so when I was creating, it actually came from this one. I don't remember, this wasn't last week. 2 weeks ago, I made this card with our, I think it's called Sunny Days stamp set. And it's, again, all about just building and creating these beautiful landscapes. And as I was doing this, what I realized was that I wish I had some more texture stamps. And so that's where this comes in. So we created this Tracks and Treads texture stamp set that can be used with all of these to create more visual interest on your projects, whether you're doing tags or cards. So lots of fun. This actually, I can't remember what it says, but because it's very hard to read, and we purposely wanted it to be hard to read, but it actually is a really nice saying. I believe it's all about, joy. I just wanted something kind of scripty, and you'll see me use that too. But these are just little texture things to kind of fill in here and there around the place. Some of them can layer. If you wanted to, let's say, stamp this little arrow, and you wanted to put 2023 in it, you could use those numbers in there. And so you could stamp this really light, let's say in a light blue, and then you could go in with the darker blue for 2023 or whatever year. If you're doing something, let's say even in a scrapbook page or a journal or something, and maybe you're doing a scrapbook page for, a birthday or a birth, you might want to put, I won't give you my year, but let's say it was for my son, and I wanted to put 2003 in there. It fits really nicely. So it's just really fun. It's a great, just a great set to have all of these together. It just creates, and especially if this is a really, really great bundle too, if you don't have any of the collage and stack stamps, this is a great place to start. Now, I told you I had something to tell you about these. So these two right here, for those of you that have already ordered, we've already shipped them all out. But as I was working with these today, I realized that there was a manufacturing error. And so this stamp right here that has the little kind of rings there, and then there's the heart in the middle, that's supposed to be two different stamps. This one right here that says, "You hold such a special place in my heart," and that little circle in the middle is actually the circle that goes in the middle of those flowers. So that's supposed to be two different stamps. And the same thing goes with this one here that says superhero. That line in the middle there is actually the cut line that was supposed to create a hollow space in that stamp. So these three stamps were manufactured incorrectly, and I've already been in communication with our manufacturer, and we're getting replacement stamps, not the full sets, but we're getting replacement stamps manufactured right away. And so if you already have these, we're going to be sending you those three stamps separately. And so we're going to get those out as quickly as we can, and you can just toss these three that are in your sets because they're not useful the way that they are, and you can replace them with the replacement stamps that we'll send you. For anybody that has not already ordered this, then you're going to get those new stamps. The replacement stamps will be in your package. So I just wanted to let you know that we caught that, we're aware of it, and we're going to take care of you very quickly. But give us, you got to give me probably a week to 10 days because they have to manufacture them, and we've got to get them in, and then we'll get them shipped. But it should not hold up any of your crafting with these. It's only two stamps in this one and one stamp in, well, technically it's four stamps and one in here, and there's plenty to craft with. So, but again, know that we're going to take care of you. Okay, so let me show you everything that I'm going to be crafting with today. Let me show you my stack of goodies here, and then we're going to get started. So, Anna, actually, let's leave it like this. So, see how this is organized? I'm trying to I don't have time to sit down for like a full couple of days and organize all of my stuff. I know, Margie, I'm so sorry. I think you're sending it to me, the what a shame, or maybe you're not. I don't know if it's for me or if there's another conversation going on, but yeah, I know, Margie, and I'm so sorry, but we are going to get it sorted out like real quickly. So anyway, and here's the thing. I'm just glad I caught it. I wish I would have caught it earlier, but
yes, I shipped them all like 4 hours before you told me.
Yeah, they all went out today. A lot of them went out today before I caught it, but anyway, we will get it taken care. You know what? It happens. You got to remember. Yeah, let me come straight on with me here because I do want to tell people something here. Here's the thing to remember. When we're manufacturing stuff, us and other companies, you know, I mean, it's people that are working at these manufacturing facilities, and people do make mistakes. So, you know, as long as you're working with a reputable company, and we do try to be exactly that, you know, we're going to correct any errors that we find. We're going to correct any errors that you guys might find. So if you do find a problem with something, always reach out to us, and we're always going to do our best to resolve it quickly. But, you know, I mean, it does happen. I mean, we're dealing with people that are in these manufacturing facilities. So, you know, mistakes are going to happen. And you know, it just happens. It doesn't happen often, but when it does, we try and take care of it. So I do appreciate your patience, and I try to be very patient with our manufacturers as well, because, you know, it's not intentional when it happens. It just happens sometimes. It's why they're called mistakes and accidents. So anyway, you know, don't feel bad for us. You know, it's just something that we have to correct, and every once in a while it happens. It's just part of being, you know, a manufacturing product. So, okay, we're going to go ahead and switch back now. So I wanted to show you how I had these organized. So here's my little tip. I don't have time to sit down and spend, you know, a few days cranking all these out. I also wanted to have remember I told you I leave a lot of mine white, so I decided to do white labels on mine instead of color coding mine. It makes it easier for my old eyes to see what I'm reading. And so I label mine with the item number, because that's how I search for things, is with the item number. And then I also label with, you know, whatever the name is. So like whatever goes on the top for me is on the front. Whatever goes on the bottom is going to generally be on the back. Okay? So I have my Mother's Day collage and then my Father's Day collage here. And, you know, you can see we have the staggered tags there, or tabs. I can't even talk. But I'm doing mine as I go. So I was working with these, so I went ahead and got mine labeled. Somebody was asking, too, what labeler I use. Alan, do you want to get me that labeler name? It's a Dymo, D-Y-M-O. It's up there to the right there. Yep.
Yes, Dymo.
It's a Dymo. Can you look at the other side of it? Because people were asking what that is.
That's a Dymo also.
Look at, honey, can you look at the bottom and give me the model number?
Okay. Mobile labeler.
It's a Dymo mobile labeler. That's what it says on it. It's really, really cool. It works right from my phone. So, all right, so I'm going to get started with these. This, I've got, here are the ones that I just showed you. Here's everything, and my ledgers. And then I also pulled in my Natasha jumbos. So I'm going to be working with these. This is the jumbo alphabet. The jumbos for the Natasha are about 1.5 inches tall. So we've got front and back, because with each of these jumbos, because they're so large, you get a 6x8, and then you also get a 4x6 stamp set. So this is the Natasha Alphas Jumbo Upper, and then I've got the lowers here, and then I also have the outline and the outline lowercase as well. And then as I was working, you'll see where this is going to come in, I decided to grab my granite. This is my 6x6 granite stamp. And right now I only have that labeled with one because I don't have anything on the back. If I put something on the back, then I will add to my label and I will know what is on the back as well. So I pulled all of those in and I'm going to get started. I've already done some of my die cutting, and I've actually stamped out the card, and I'm going to move this off camera here because I don't want you to see yet what I've done. So I've already kind of got started here. I decided to do something for Mom, so I'm doing a Mother's Day card and a Father's Day card. So I have, this is just cardstock. It's an A2. I had an 8.5 by 11 sheet of cardstock. I cut it at 4 1/4, scored it at 5 1/2, and now I have a top folding portrait card. And then I also pulled in, I left my dies over there, Alan. I forgot about it. Can you grab one?
You should grab those.
Can you? Oh my goodness, my
Where are you
husband.
pointing at?
Right over there. Right over there. Honey, they're right there. They're up in the top there. You gonna make me get up?
No, but what type of die are you looking for?
Oh, it's the oval die. You know what? There's some
Right
white.
here.
Huh? Yeah, you got it. You got it. Just give me the oval one, honey.
Okay, someone's asking what the pockets are. I don't know if Linnea answered that.
Oh, okay. So this is my Delicate Stitches oval die. I haven't gotten these labeled yet, as you can see, but you can see now that these have those magnet sheets that I told you we're going to be bringing back to HSN. But I used this Delicate Stitch scallop oval die. I'm sure Linnea can find the link to that because I don't know the item number of it, but that's what I ended up using for this right here. And we'll talk about that when we get to it. But I'm going to set those off to the side. And I've got a piece of Nina Classic Crest Solar White 110-pound cardstock. It's an 8.5 by 11 sheet. I'm going to go ahead and trim this down to some A2 pieces for me. So I'm going to cut it at 5.5, and then a couple of them at 4 1/4. Well, maybe 4 of them. And set 3 of these aside because I only need 1 of them right now. Okay, and for this I am going to use my stamp positioner. This is my Misty. This is the small little travel Misty. And oh, this paper is not, that one's not a good piece. That one has a little mark on it. So let me grab another one. Okay. So I'm going to pop that in there, and I'm going to get started with my Mother's Day. So in my little pocket here, I can easily see, what I've got, and I'm going to start with Mother's Day. And the colors that I'm going to be working with for this, for my stamps, my stamp ink pads, I've got a light pink and a dark pink. So I've got Pink Tutu, and then Tickled Pink. Those are my pinks. For green, I wanted a beautiful, bright green, so I went with 4-leaf. I also pulled in kind of a wine color, which is Boysenberry Blast. That was something I chose. I didn't choose that right from the get-go. I'll explain to you why I ended up grabbing that and pulling that in. And then I also pulled in, I wanted a nice light color, and so I chose this really pretty alloy here. So I'm going to go ahead and get started with this. And let me move my little magnet over. Now, the stamps are going to, like I said, this is cling and store. So your stamps are going to stick. The more the thicker stamps are going to stick a little bit more. A lot of these I haven't used yet because I've only just started working with these today. As I use these a couple of times, I'm not going to have to worry about them sticking quite as much, but these are brand new. So I do kind of have to peel them off a little bit. But you know what? It's a good thing because I know I'm not going to be losing my stamps. So this is the one I needed. I don't know why I was working up there, but I wanted this little leafy piece here. So I decided to start a little bit north of center. And I'm going to lay this in here. This is how I do it. I'm going to get my die. This is my big oval die. It's a nice fat oval die, which I love because then it allows me to have a lot of space to work in to create something really pretty. So this is kind of going to give me, I'm going to kind of position a little bit how I want things to go. Let me get that mom stamp. And then I just kind of want to see where things are going to be and how this is going to lay out. And just put another stamp up above it. And it's going to help me kind of position where I might want my little flowers to be. I can actually tuck those a little bit closer than they are, because you have to remember you have extra space on extra polymer on the edges there. Okay, so I'm going to put this one here. I'm pressing it down because it is sticky, so it'll stay there for me. So it's right in the middle. And I'm going to go ahead, let me create a little bit of space right here. And I'm going to move all my inks out of the way because I always grab, here's what I do. I don't work with my inks right side so I can see this here. I work with my inks like this. Okay, probably not the safest thing because I can end up with a mess. But keep in mind the glass surface, I can wipe anything up. But this means that it's harder for me to see what color. So I'm very careful. I only like to have one ink opened at a time. That's my point. So I'm going to go ahead and pick this stamp up. Got my Stampendable. And I put this little flower right in the center because I want to have a little trio of flowers. Now I'm just giving this a moment to really soak in. There we go. Look how cute that is. I'm going to give it one more just to really fill in and be nice and dark. There you go. So I'm going to go ahead and give that a wipe, get any excess off of there. And then just kind of dry it a little bit with my fingers. And I'm going to put another one right next to it, kind of close up. Press it down on my paper so it stays somewhat. And we're just going to get inked up. I do like to give it a moment to soak into the paper. And I'm going to ink it one more time. The really nice thing about hybrid inks, and I know I say this a lot, but you can build your color up with them because they layer upon themselves and darken really nicely. So thank you, Kim. It is a gorgeous spring green, isn't that? So let's do one more here. The reason I'm mentioning that about the layering of the colors is, or layering of the ink, the hybrid ink, is because we have several inks, and you're going to see me use one in a little while, but we have several ink pads or several colors that are designed to be really light. And because they're just nice little background accent colors. But as you layer them, stamp them maybe 3 or 4 times, you can darken them, and they're, I mean, it's a whole new ball game. They just look so different when you do that. Look how pretty. So gorgeous. Okay, so let me put this one back. There we go. I'm going to put these two just right down here because I already peeled these up and I don't want to place them under there. It's not really necessary right now. But let's see, what else am I going to do? I'm going to work with these little flowers here. We have 2 flowers and we've positioned them so you've got this, the 2 next to each other will layer, and then these 2 will layer. So where you have your solid stamp one, you want to do that first, and you want to do that in the lighter color. So I'm going to grab that one and just kind of place that right on top of that stem. Now I'm going to move my green. I'm actually all done with the green, so I'm going to get that out of the way, and I'm going to pull in my lighter pink, which is Pink Tutu. Give that a good ink. So pretty. I'm going to ink it one more time. It looks different for me in here than it does for you guys because the lights are so bright. And I want to make sure you guys see what I see, so I'm going to stamp a lot of these twice so that you guys can really see what it looks like. At least see what it looks like for me. So now I have that little one that layers, and because I can see through, I can line it up pretty well. If I'm off, that's okay. Not a big deal. So I want a darker pink now. Put that one away, and I'm going to grab my tickled pink to go darker with the next layer. Hopefully I'm in the right place. If I'm not, it's okay. It'll just make it look like the flower is turned a little bit. So I'm a little bit off to the left, and that's all right. So now I'm going to go to that other flower. So I decided to put one of them in the center, and then the two on the side are going to be this flower here. So I'm going to go ahead and get that little one there. That's the layering piece, and leave that there for now. And I'm going to do the two little flowers. And I'm going to do them in the same color combination as the first. So I'm back to pink tutu. Oops. See, that's why that one, I'm going to do it. Actually, I think I got a lot of ink on that, so I'm not going to worry about that one. I can leave that there. And then this one, pink tutu. There we go. There we go. And then I'm going to get that little layering piece, which I had set right over here. And again, I can see through it, so I can kind of see how I'm lined up. I just want it to be in the general area. Make sure I'm doing this. I think it has to go that way a little bit. I can't put my head right over it, so I can't tell where I am. It helps if I can put my head in the camera, but I can't. I mean, I can. It just doesn't look nice. Okay, so now I'm going back to my darker pink, which is tickled pink. There we go. Look how cute. Oh my gosh, I just love it. It looks like a little pinwheel. It's just darling. Okay, I think I got that in the right place. We'll see. Find out. So cute. Now, this is where, once you get your replacement stamp, that little circle right there will be a separate stamp, and that can stamp right in the center of the flowers. So, but it's not necessary. It's an optional layer if you want to do it. Okay? So from here, I'm going to set these two pinks aside. And now this is where I kind of was like, you know what, I want to put the mom underneath in black, but I wanted to give it something to set on. And so I decided to use that Happy Mother's Day stamp right underneath. And this is where I decided to go to bring in a third pink. And I just went a little bit darker with it. And I grabbed this Boysenberry Blast because it's so pretty. Make sure I have that up high enough, and I think I do. Now, if you haven't stamped your stamps, at least once already, you might want to condition them before you start stamping, just by very simply rubbing your finger over it and getting any excess, oils or anything from manufacturing off of there. Look how cute that is. So beautiful. I'm going to go ahead and clean this stamp with my Extreme Clean, because that's a darker color. I'm going to make sure I get any excess off of there. Now the only black that I'm putting on the card is the mom. But, so here's the thing. I wanted to put the mom here, because remember we're stacking. And I thought, I could leave that just real plain and clean and white underneath. Or I could get kind of interesting with it. And I could take a look at my Tracks and Treads set here. And I love that. I just think it's very feminine, that little background stamp. And like I said, it does say something. It's a little, like a little poem about joy. So I thought it would be fun to stamp that in the background behind where the mom is going to go. And I don't want it to be perfect. So I actually grabbed a, I do want to make sure I have this going in the right direction. Like upright.
Right side up.
Right side up, yes. Wouldn't that be great if I stamped it upside down?
Double tail.
Would I be able to tell? I think it goes this way. Yeah, I would. If you're not sure, look at your stamp here, and I can see the shape of it. Okay? So I thought it would be fun to just kind of stamp a little bit of this texture in there, just to have a little bit of background. So I'm going to go ahead and just ink up a little bit of my stamp here. And I'm going to stamp it a little bit wide and not perfect, just really light. And get that little edge there. I want it to look kind of old and worn. Again. Just like that. So it's just a little bit of age and something pretty in the background. So you notice I just kind of rolled it over there. I didn't hold it and press it down evenly. Didn't want a ton of color on it. I think that's really pretty. Go ahead and put this piece back in there. And that's really the whole intention behind the Tracks and Treads set, is to have those little accent pieces. So now I'm going to grab that mom stamp and I'm going to butt that right up against, right underneath the Happy Mother's Day and kind of center it a little bit. Almost as though the Happy Mother's Day is sitting on the mom there. I can't tell if I have it straight. For some reason it looks a little off to me. There we go. We'll go with that. Now this I am going to stamp in black. I'm going to have all these beautiful colors, all these different pinks and that green, but I really wanted to have just one piece that was really going to pop and was going to be a real good strong color, and I decided it was going to be black because that was going to be strong enough to stand out from all of the other colors. And this I might ink a couple of times because it's a solid stamp. I mean, they're all solids, but it's a thick font, I guess is more what I'm trying to say. So let that soak in. And then let's see how we did. Yep, I'm going to do it one more time. There we go. Gorgeous. Give that a quick clean with my Extreme Clean. There we go. Now, I wanted to put a little more underneath Mom, but I didn't want to just tuck another sentiment right there because I didn't want to have 1, 2, 3 sentiments just sitting on top of each other without any kind of, separation. So I went back to my trusty Tracks and Treads and I was looking at like the little arrows here and the dots and so on and so forth, and I really fell in love with this 3-line, it's like a triple line. I like it because it is, it's not arrows, it's not dots, it's not hearts, it's not anything whimsical like that. It's very straight lines, so it still gives me that real clean kind of look and feel that I'm going for with this. That kind of look and feel is almost the opposite of that really fun script in the background there. Make sure I got this lined up right. There we go. And so I took a look at my colors. Now this is where the colors come in. What colors do I have? I have the light and the medium pink up there. I have that darker pink here. Green, that's the only place I'm going to use the green. That's very bold and I've used it 3 times. So I thought I want to get some more of those colors and balance at the bottom. So that was when I decided to pull in my pink tutu again. Balancing colors throughout the collage is really important. It just kind of rounds everything out. I'm going to do that one more time. I wish I would have put it up a little bit higher, but it'll be fine. So I'm going to darken that a little bit by doing it a second time. Look how that pops and balances that. Really nice. And then from here, I want something else about Mom. And there was one thing I remember so much about when I had my son, and she enjoyed watching me, you know, deal with that, because it was, I'm sure you're going to find it hard to believe, but I was not the easiest child. I'm very independent, and my son is very independent, and she enjoyed the fact that he was very independent. So this one here that says, "You were right about everything," there was a point in time where I actually sat down with her and I gave her a very big apology for everything, and about how right she was, and how wrong I was all the time. And of course how grateful I was that she was stronger than I was, in order to deal with me in my independence. So it was good. I don't mean strong physically, I mean, you know, strong person. Okay, so now I'm going back to, I have that lighter pink here, and notice I have the light pink here, right? But I also have the darker pink, so now I'm pulling that darker pink in at the bottom here, and I've got that tickled pink again, so it's balance of color. Let's see. There you go. I do remember my mom saying when I was pregnant, before we knew that we were having a boy, I remember her saying, "Angela, I hope you have a little girl just like you." Which sounds really sweet unless you know my mother and I. Then you knew that she was giving me a jab. She was awesome. She was my best friend. Most wonderful woman I've ever known. Okay, so now I have this little bit of space here, and I need to put something in it, and I thought about these little hearts. I love these little triple hearts. We have a little single heart here too. We've also got some butterflies, and I thought it would be nice to decorate with some of that. So I've got this triple heart here, and I thought to myself, what color haven't I used over and over and over again in here, right? I haven't used that darker pink, that boysenberry. So I decided to use the boysenberry in these places here. So I'm going to put these 3 little hearts right here, and I'm going to grab that boysenberry blast. There we go. Let that soak in. Look how pretty that is. I'm going to give it one more, just a wee bit. Excellent. And then I'm going to do the same thing with these little butterflies. But the butterflies, I'm going to do 2 different colors. So I've got 2 butterflies. I've got, actually I don't want the larger one. I'm sorry. I just want to use the smaller one because I've only got the smallest little flower in here. So I want the smaller butterfly. So I'm going to put one of these butterflies right up here. That's going to be, there we go. I'm going to do that with the boysenberry blast. There we go. Give that a quick little clean. because I'm going to go to a lighter color now. And I'm going to put one of them over here. Now I'm going to tell everybody real quickly, we are going to go over in time because I have another card for you. There we go. So now I'm going to go to my medium pink, which is tickled pink. And put that one there. Alan, where'd you go? You're my die cutter. There we go. Okay. So I'm going to go ahead and put this one, turn my folder over the right way, put this back in. And you do have to be a little careful that those little acetate sheets don't get hooked, but you can fit on the front and the back, and it's perfect. So then from here, this is what we have right now. Isn't that pretty? So pretty. I think it's just darling. From here, we're going to take this largest die right here. Remember the delicate stitches I told you about? And we're going to frame it just like this. Okay? And actually, I'm not going to have, Alan, I'm not going to, just for the sake of time, I'm not going to have you die cut it because I've already got one here that I cut. So I'll just work with this one. Okay. So this is what we would do. I would run that through the machine, and then this is what I would get. Okay? So then from here, I would take my second die right here. So let me explain this die. This first die has the blade on the outside that cuts that scallop, does that beautiful little stitch in there, but I don't have a blade on the inside. If I wanted to cut a hole in the center of that and have a frame, then I would nest this die in with it and cut these together because I have a blade now on the outside of this one. And so if you cut these together, you actually end up with two frames because then this one also has a blade on the inside. So with cutting just with the outer die, you get this. If I then take my beautiful pink cardstock that I showed you before, so this pink cardstock right here that I have, I pulled this pink, it coordinates with that pink tutu that I have, and see how pretty that looks together, just like that. Isn't that gorgeous? But I wanted another little frame there. And so I thought it would be really pretty to frame it with one of the nested dies, and I cut that also out of that pink cardstock with just this die. This is what you get right here, okay, right here. And so this piece I'm going to actually place right here, but I wanted it to pop up a little bit, just a little bit, and I didn't want to have to deal with foam. So I cut with that die again in white. And so from here, I'm going to grab my adhesive. Let me make sure all of this lines up perfectly. I like to make sure I have everything lined up right. And I'm just going to add a little bit of adhesive all around here. This white is Neenah Classic Crest Solar White, 110-pound cardstock. It's going to give me just a little bit of thickness, but not too much. If you wanted to bump it up again, you could layer more than one. But it's just going to give me a little bit of dimension. You could also pop foam behind that if you wanted even more dimension. But I'm not going to do that, because this just gives me a tiny little bit of a lip that I think is really pretty. Keeps it delicate. Makes it so everything fits nicely in an envelope in the mail as well. Keep that in mind. So that's really nicely too. I'm going to watch my stitch lines there and pay attention to that and see if I can get things kind of evenly placed within those stitch lines. It's a good reason why you want to use a liquid adhesive here. So it gives you a little bit of time to get it as good as you can. I mean, nothing's going to be perfect, right? Let that kind of set up there for a moment. The LDRS glue is, I love this craft glue. It goes on white, but it dries clear. So if it, if it squeezes out anywhere, it's not going to be an issue. It also dries pretty quickly. So that's good too. Now I am going to put a little bit of foam on this. It is optional, but I want to have foam on the back of the white piece, which is another reason why I didn't put foam on that nested frame there, because I think it would have been too bulky. Now again, this part is optional if you want. If you don't want to have, this much bulk going into the mail, then yeah, that's totally fine. It's completely up to you however you want to do it. The foam that I use is Scotch, and it's only about a 1/16 of an inch thick. So it's not going to be super bulky, but it's going to give me a little bit of dimension. So I'm going to make sure my card is opening in the correct direction, and I'm going to get this placed on there. Chris is asking what roll of foam I'm using. It is Scotch. This is... let's see, it's Scotch. This is a massive roll. You can get these on Amazon. I want to say it's like 32.5 feet or something like that. It lasts you a really long time. This is the 3/4 of an inch. I think it will say something like, I don't know, wall mold tape, molding tape or something like that. I don't know what it's some weird name, but it's totally awesome and I love it. It's a perfect thickness just by itself, but if you want to double it up, it doesn't get too thick. I also like, let's see, I think that's good. I also like that the adhesive on it, the glue on it, does not dry and then fall apart. So I think I'm a little crooked. Oh well. Isn't that pretty? Nice, beautiful spring card for Mom. I think it's just lovely. Delicate stitches inside and out, beautiful pinks. You could do this in any color combination, whatever, if your mom loves blues or loves purples, choose whatever color you want to do it with, and it's just going to be stunning. So that is card number 1 for Mother's Day. So we're going to quickly do something for Father's Day, and we're going to use that Father's Day set. Yes, Sherry, it's always a plus if the card stays together. And I'll tell you, I have used some foam in the past where the adhesive on that foam just dries and it literally falls apart. So, all right, I'm going to move these pieces over to the side here because I don't want you guys to see yet what I'm doing. And I'm going to show you what I've got. So this card is going in the other direction. This one is going to be landscape. So this is, I took an 8.5 by 11 piece of cardstock and I cut it at 5.5 now, the opposite of what I did before. I cut it at 5.5 and scored at 4.25. So now it's top folding in a landscape position. And then this is just a quarter of, a piece, just an A2, 4.25 by 5.5. And this is a very light gray, just a very light gray. All right, so let me get a piece of cardstock. Neenah Classic Crest Solar White cardstock. Here we are. And we're just going to start stamping and having fun. So for this card, this is going to be masculine. I decided to work with coffee bean. I wanted brown. And I brought in some blues. So I've got, this one is called Swimming Hole Blue. And dark wash jeans. And then I also brought in alloy because I thought that would be really pretty too. And we used the alloy just a minute ago in the other card. So these are the 4 cards or colors that I brought in. Oh, and then I also have my my trusty Raven beautiful black. So these are the colors right here. Okay. So we're gonna get started. Let me move things. Because I'm crafting in a small space here so you guys can see everything, I'm trying to keep everything in that space, and it's not easy. My glass board is the perfect size, but I can't fill it up with all my stuff because you can't see everything. I want to work more close up for you guys. So alrighty, so let's see if I can keep this in the camera a bit. So just like I said, A2 piece of cardstock here. This one has a little bend in it. I don't think this is a very good, all right. let me get this one here. So 4 1/4 by 5 1/2. So this right here, we're going to start with that new ledger stamp. And where is the new ledger stamp? It's right here, ledger 2. There we go. Peel that off of there. There we go. And I'm just going to kind of center this on my card, just like so, as best I can. Oops. Then I can mess it up a bit. Okay. I'm going to put this here, and because I want to have a little magnet there to hold that, a good strong magnet. I think it might be a little bit high. There we go. I'm going to start this off. I wanted to have this be masculine, blues, browns, blacks. Okay. So I'm actually going to start by stamping that ledger in coffee bean. So let's get that inked up. Do I have my ledger going in the right direction? Yes, I do. Technically, it could go in either direction. I just want to make sure I had it going in the direction that I wanted it to go in. So let's see. There we go. Now, everything that you really need to create is in that Father's Day set. I did go outside of the Father's Day set, and I pulled in some of my Natasha Alphas. Look how great that looks. I love this because some of the lines are thick, some of the lines are thin, and we did that intentionally so that it would be a little more reminiscent of like an accounting ledger, which is where the name of it comes from. There we go. So I'm going to go ahead and put this back on. There we go. And attach that back. Slide that back in. We're all done with that one now. Oops. There we go. Okay. So from here, I'm going to start by building in the center. I want kind of like my focal point. And I decided to work with, I want to put the word dad real big there. And so I'm working with my Natasha Outline Alphas, the jumbo. These are about 1.5 inches. I think they're 1.5 inches in height. And I'm going to go with the uppercase D. And I'm just going to line this up. I'm not going to worry so much about, I don't care if it overlaps some of these lines. I use the lines kind of as a guide. So here's where I'm going to place the D. I'm going to get a quick drink of water. Sorry. And I'm going to start, I want to have an outline of a darker blue. So I'm going to have the outline of the dark wash jeans on all of my letters here. Let me move this over so that it holds. There we go. So dark wash jeans for my outline. Let that soak in. I'm going to stamp that one more time because I want this blue to be really strong. And remember what I said about the hybrid inks. The colors will build. Yes, Kim, the ledger stamps are great for journals. You can use them, you could even use them on your scrapbook pages. They're just wonderful for creating little focal points and giving you kind of like little boundaries and guidelines for where you want to create special little, I don't know, vignettes, if you will. So that's the only letter I need from the Natasha Alpha, the jumbo, the outline. I'm going to pull the A and the D from the lowercase. I wanted to mix and match. I could have done all uppercase, but I really wanted to mix these together. I didn't want the dad word to be so bold, you know, as if I had, like it would be if I had done it in all caps. It would have been like I was shouting dad. I didn't want to do that. So, all right, so I'm going to continue on with dark wash jeans. There we go. And I'm going to do one more because I want it darker. I love the blue and the brown together. I think it is just so beautiful. And now let me grab the lowercase d here. If anybody is thinking about trying out this storage, I highly suggest you get one of the bundles from HSN. It's at best price, and it's going to give you everything you need to get started. I've had questions. I've had people say, how many do I need? Oh, I don't want to do it because I'm going to need 18 of them or whatever, and you really don't. You know, you can get started and just have like one box, if you wanted, that sits on your craft space that has, you know, whatever you're currently or most often working with, you know, and maybe that's where you bring in, you know, your most popular things that, you know, the things you reach for the most. Or maybe you want to have a box for stamps, you know, and, you know, but that have coordinating dies, and maybe another box that has just like your you know, your favorite standalone dies. So it doesn't have to be a ton of them, but I highly encourage you to give it a try because I think you're really going to love it. I've been searching for a storage solution for a long, long time. I mean, a few years, and finally decided to just, you know, I was talking with with Nikki, who's my partner in Squirrel and Vine, because that's the storage is a Squirrel and Vine product, and so we really talked a lot about what we needed in storage and what was missing in the storage items that we had tried or looked at in the past, and what was not successful and what we wanted to change to make it work for, you know, however we wanted or needed to use it. And that's what this is. So it's just, I think it's wonderful. Okay, so now I'm moving on to the solid color. So I have the capital D, and it's the solid, and I'm going to fill in that outline now. And I'm going to start with, I'm going to do all this with Swimming Hole, which is a lighter blue. Really pretty. Now this is, remember when I said some of the colors that we have in our hybrid ink line are really light, and we have them really light, so you can use them in your color blending if you want to see like a beautiful soft sky, or if you're doing some, you know, a scrapbook page, let's say, and you just want kind of this beautiful kind of baby blue. It's almost like a denim baby blue. Look how light that is. Now I'm going to stamp this a few more times, and you're going to see that color build and change. It's really, really nice. What did you say there, Alan?
Nothing.
You insisted that Angie name what after her?
Sharon said you named this after her daughter, and I said I insisted that you name it after her.
What? Named what? What are you talking about?
Natasha.
Oh, Natasha. It's our secret agent stamp set. Doesn't
That's
Natasha sound like a secret
Boris
agent
and
name?
Natasha?
Boris. Yeah, we should have named the other one Boris.
Yeah.
So look how pretty that got. Isn't that gorgeous? I love it. I think it's just beautiful. And then set against that darker blue, it's just lovely. So I think I stamped it 4 times to get it darker like that. So I love that. I love some of the lighter ink pad, or ink colors, because they really give you beautiful soft touch with just one stamp, but you can layer them up and create an entirely different color. So now I'm going to grab the A, the lowercase a, and I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to move this over. I just want to make sure that's good and strong, because these stamps are These fonts are really thick. Give that a little bit of push. Now, if I don't keep this, you know, confined within that outline, I'm not going to worry about that. It just gives it a little bit more of, you know, an eclectic, handmade kind of a feel if it's not so perfect. So don't worry if you don't stamp it perfectly. And I'll tell you this too, if I were doing this without my Stampendable, my hand would be really sore right now. I have arthritis in my hands. This one only took 3 and I've come up to color. But I have arthritis in my hands, so I can't be pressing on my stamps with my fingers without my hands wearing out and getting really sore. So the Stampendable really saves my hands a lot. All right, here is the D. And the nice thing about it too is you can grab the Stampendable on the little handle in the center, or if you want a wider grip, depending on the size of your hand or how comfortable it is to you. Sometimes I don't even grip it at all. Let me ink that up a couple more times. Alan, what are you doing there? What are you doing?
Just pay attention to what you're working on there and let me take care of everything else.
No hitting on our guests, Mr. Hunt.
That wasn't the kind of offer.
He's mine, ladies.
I'm available.
But he could be yours for the small price of... No, I'm kidding. All right. Isn't that beautiful? I love that. It's so nice. I'll tell you something, too, about these alphabets. You know, some people... I used to think, I'm not ever... Why do I need the whole alphabet? I'm not going to ever use some of those letters. Yes, you will. You absolutely will. There will come a time when you will use those letters. I promise you. Okay, so now the dad is done. And so in looking at this stamp set, I have to tell you, I decided to do this card based on my own father and his hobbies and his likes. And my dad, oh, you can't see the stamp anymore very well because I stamped it in, actually, let me grab it over here. Here it is, because mine's all in black because I stamped it. That's actually a beautiful wheel of a car. I think it's just gorgeous. My dad loves cars, loves hot rod cars. And I have developed a love for go-fast cars as well. And he loves football, and he loves to golf. And so those were, and he's also, I mean, he built, you know, 2 additions on the house I grew up in. So he's great with, you know, tools and stuff too in building. So that's where some of this stuff is just perfect for him. And that's what I decided to do with this card, was build this around my dad. So when I was starting this, I thought, you know, one of the main things I want to have on my card for my dad, because my dad, when I was growing up, always had a car in the garage that he was working on, that he was building. My dad would rebuild basically the inside, the interior, everything under the hood, basically the underneath of the car and everything. And then he had what he termed a body guy who would do the body of the car. And so this is a little tribute to my dad with this beautiful wheel from a car. So I'm going to do that in the black, in the Raven. And ink this up a couple of times, and it looks so cool. Let's do that again. Give it a really good, beautiful, crisp, Raven, true black. It's just beautiful. Look how stunning that is. So pretty. Give that a little clean. I'll tell you this too. Feel free, you know, when you're creating, if you like the cards that I do here, you know, it doesn't bother me if you want to recreate the exact same cards. I mean, it's completely up to you. Just so you know, it doesn't bother me at all. So I've got those in there. That was what I knew I wanted to have. So then it was kind of like, how do I build this out from here? And I started taking a look. I love the dad here, but I've already got dad. So then I thought, this is another big, good focal point. And the font on this word hero, which is the same font that we used on the love for the mom, it's a little bit rough and textured. So when you see that, don't think there's something wrong with that stamp. There's nothing wrong with it. The font that we used on it is just kind of a rough font. And it fits pretty nicely in here. It's going to go over just a little bit over some of the lines, and that is totally and completely fine. One of the things I wanted to do was bring in some of these tracks and treads. And so I thought it would be fun to have this little arrow like right here. Some of it. Maybe not all of it, but some of it. We'll see how it works. I'm not going to stamp these together. I'm going to move this back onto the other side there, because there we go. I do stamp one stamp at a time. It allows me to get the stamps closer. It also allows me to be more precise and get a better, you know, it's better when you're pressing on just the one stamp rather than a whole bunch of them, because you're going to risk not getting real good even pressure when you have multiple stamps on your platform at one time. So I'm going to go ahead and pull in my alloy for this hero stamp. Ink that up. And we're going to start bringing a little bit of texture into this. And that's fairly light. So I'm going to stamp it again, build up my color. And then just to have, see that texture in there? To have a little bit of fun with it. Because it looks kind of plain like that, I thought I'm going to do a little funky inking with my Raven, and I'm just going to kind of angle it a little bit here and there on there, just a little bit. See how it's just a tiny bit. Stamp that on there. And look at how it just gives it a little bit, just kind of makes it go pop. It's cool. Really nice. Brings it to life a little bit. Okay, let me put the hero stamp away. Let me get this one in here. There we go. And the next step is the arrows. If I stamp that at the exact same time, I wouldn't be able to get it so close in there, and I want it nice and close. Notice how we're going a little bit outside of that ledger too, and that's totally fine. So I wanted to bring in, I just use a little bit of that darker blue, so I'm going to bring that in again with dark wash jeans. How nice that is. Doesn't that look great? I'm going to get one more time. I don't think I got it as well on the one side there. I don't think I inked it evenly. That's better. There we go. You know what, I'm so glad. I see Dee Dee says, I'm really loving these collage stamps. I'm so glad. You know what I think is cool is you can do so many things with these sets. It's really just a matter of just filling in the blanks. I mean, that's all I'm doing is filling in where I've got blank space, and it's really cool. So I'm going to go right up the side here with a dark blue, and I'm going to use this Best Ad Ever. If I wanted to use, ooh, how did I put that in there? What in the world? I don't like it when I don't put my stamps away nicely. Okay. If I wanted to put I Love You Pops, I could put that there. If you wanted to put If at First You Don't Succeed, or one of your definitions, however you want to put it, build it. If you want to use Dad Talks, you can. For me, oh, and there's one here, it says hugs and fist bumps. But for me, I decided to put Best Dad Ever there. But just by changing up the stamp that you use, you're customizing it. Okay, there we go. And I'm going to continue on with Dark Wash Jeans. There we go. There you go. Clean that off. And put it away. That way it doesn't get fuzzy, it doesn't land on the floor, nothing happens. So from here, I wanted to just kind of start to balance and play in the center a little bit more. For me, to go along with that tire was the tools. Remember I said my dad, very handy with tools. So I decided to grab this one that is the wrench and the screwdriver. And I'm placing that just right in this area above that wheel. And I'm going to stamp that. I'm going to do the similar thing that I did with the Hero. And I'm going to stamp it in alloy, which is a little light. So I'm going to do it a couple of times. See how light that is? Alloy is great also for just giving you a light ledger if you wanted to just stamp the ledger really light. I did it in brown because I wanted to kind of simulate like a brown, almost plaid kind of a look with the blue and the brown. So I stamped alloy twice there. Now I'm going to grab my Raven and I'm going to ink up those little edges kind of like I did with the, there we go, like I did with the Hero. Just get a little gray and black in there together. You know, Jennifer, it really is. Jennifer says, I love how you make it look so easy. It is easy. I'm not choosing any of these stamps for any other reason than, there's two reasons I'm choosing them. One, they fit my theme, which is my dad and what he is all about. And they also fit the spaces that I'm putting them in. And all of these stack and collage stamps that we design with these ledgers, they're designed to work in these spaces. And the cool thing is once you do this a few times, you'll be able to create by stacking and collaging without even having the ledger. Because you'll be able to visualize that ledger and you'll be able to visualize kind of how you're stacking things and laying them out. And it just gets easier just by playing with it. I wouldn't even call it practice. I mean, it's just playing with it. Okay, so the next thing my dad is all about golf. So I have this golf club here. So I'm going to put the golf club here, and I don't want it on the line. I'm going to do the same thing with that, with the gray and the black. So I'm going to ink it up. First in the gray, do that a couple of times, just because my gray is light. So I'm going to darken it. Okay, and then I'm going to grab my Raven, and I'm going to add a little bit of color, just kind of on the handle a little bit. Wipe some of that off because I don't want it all on there. That might be a little much. Let's get some of that off of there. There we go. There you go. Clean that. Golf club. Did I call it something else by accident? No. No? Okay. Wasn't sure. In my head, I wasn't sure. All right, I'm putting this on here wrong. There you go. Okay, so there's the golf club. And so now I'm going to fill in with a couple more things. So I've got the dark blue here, the dark blue there. I want to have some dark blue to balance across the top. See how that's starting to take shape? So I'm going to put something blue across the top. And what I don't have yet is a Happy Father's Day. So I'm going to pull that in because I do want mine to be a Father's Day. If you wanted this to be a birthday card, then go to one of the other sets that we have where we have some happy birthday things, some celebratory things, and put something else instead. Turn your card into something else, into a different kind of celebration. All right, so I'm going to grab my dark wash jeans again. There we go. I'm going to do that one more time. There we go. And clean that. There we go. And I have a little bit of space here where I just decided to fill in with top notch. If you want to put dad talks in there or something, you know, however it is you want to fill it in. I decided to put top notch in this space right here. And I decided to use black because I have black over here. I have some black here, a little bit of black in there, but I don't have another nice, strong, bold anything in black. So I decided to use top notch. There we go. And to do that in the Raven black. It's literally just color balance. I kind of think in triangles with the color a little bit. In threes, if you will. I'm going to give that one more. Gorgeous. And now I still have a little bit of space to fill in here. So then it kind of becomes about, you know, what else is there about my dad, right? What else fits in here? I've got the golf club. What I don't have is the little golf ball. So I'm going to pop that golf ball in right down here because it fits perfectly. Right there. And I decided, since I have a lot of gray and black going on, I don't have any blue in this area at all, I decided to do that in that really light, beautiful swimming hole blue. I thought that would be really nice to get some of that light blue in. I have some of the dark blue, but I don't have light blue anywhere else. So I'm bringing that back in. And remember, this blue is a really light blue. So I'm going to layer it up a couple of times. You may not even see it there on your screen. I can see it, but with all the lights, sometimes it's hard for you guys to see it too. I'm going to do one more. And then because I really want some definition on it, I'm going to pull in some dark wash jeans. And I'm going to tilt my ink pad and only go on the one side of it. And look at that magic. Isn't that pretty? So nice. Alrighty. So I have a little bit more to fill in, not much, we're getting there. My dad has always been a huge football fan. We've got a football right here. The only brown I have in this whole picture and the whole thing is just the ledger, right? So I'm going to go ahead and grab that football because the football is brown. I want to make sure that we have the what are they called? The laces kind of pointing up. There we go. What?
That was pretty good.
What was good?
That you knew that.
That they were laces?
Yeah.
You do realize my father loves football. Okay? Do you think I grew up in a football house? Oh yeah, there's a reason why I don't watch football anymore. I've had my fill. There we go. So I'm doing this in coffee bean. So I'm stamping over other coffee bean, right? So you can still see that line where the coffee bean is for the ledger. So I'm going to ink it up again and try and blend those in just a tiny bit. There you go. That looks better. So there's my football.
Football looks great, by the way.
Thank you. Football. And then I have room up in this corner too. So I had mentioned the tools before. I've got a hammer in here. It's a little hammer. See that one right there? So I'm going to put that hammer in here. Right there. And I'm going to ink up this hammer in brown as well. So that'll give me 3 things that are brown. So this is my coffee bean. I'm going to do it one more. And then to make it stand out a little bit more, sorry about my arm, I'm going to pull in some raven and get the raven just on the top and the bottom just a wee bit to make that stand out a bit. Look how cool that looks. Isn't that beautiful? Okay. And then I've got one more little thing to do on this. So when I took a step back and I looked at it, I thought, I got that little corner there. It's got nothing. I kind of have that one too, but that one's smaller. That one's a little bit bigger. So I looked to this is where I looked to my tracks and treads, and I saw that little arrow right there, but I don't want the full arrow. I just want a little bit of the arrow. So I went to my, if I can find it, my little block. I'm going to pull this out of here. Put my little arrows on the block. Okay, so it's those arrows right there, but I'm only going to use a few of the arrows. And I decided to put the dark blue up in there to kind of balance what was going on here. So I'm going to open up my ink pad, and I'm going to turn this the other direction. You can do it in either direction. But I'm only going to ink up the 3 arrows on the edge there. There we go. I got all 3 of them inked. And then put that right there. And just hold it a moment. There you go. That's it. Okay. Clean that little bit off. I know it's 8:30. We're going real long tonight, but I promised you 2 cards. I actually was going to do 3 cards, and I thought, I don't think I can get through it.
I think I could get through it.
So I'll put these away later. I won't take the time to put all that away because I don't want to keep you guys here for too long. So this is where we're at. And then I went ahead and I trimmed this down. I'm going to trim it down just a little bit. I'm going to take 1/4 of an inch off of each of the sides. I'm actually going to do a tiny little bit more on this side and a little bit less on the other one, only because I could see that I'm off-centered a bit, and that will drive me bonkers. But technically, I'm trimming it 1/4 of an inch, so I'm going to go 1 less on this one and see if I end up centered then. It should. Okay. Yep, it looks great. Looks really good. So I trimmed that little bit off of there so that it will fit on my base just like this. But it looks a little plain, right? Doesn't it look a little plain? So next thing I did, and I'm not going to do it, I'm just going to show you what I did. Tell you what I did. I took my granite, this is my granite stamp, and I inked that up in black. And I inked over my gray. I stamped granite over my gray. So I stamped it in my raven black over the top of the gray. That says Natural Granite, 3385 is the item number. Amazing background stamp. It's a big 6x6. And so suddenly we go from that, right, to that. Isn't that gorgeous? I mean, it just really sets it off. I think it's absolutely striking. So I'm going to go ahead and adhere this right down to my card base. All right. So this goes right on my card base. There you go. And then I'm going to get some foam and put it on the back of this. Don't go away, ladies. We still have a giveaway, don't forget. And if you haven't gotten a comment out there, I encourage you to do so because it's the only way we know you're here. And we can only draw your name if we know you're here. So Alan's going to be drawing a name soon. It's a tiny little bit long. All those little pieces I literally stick on the side there and I use them later. I don't throw any of this away. I keep cutting it just a tiny little bit too long. Okay. That's a little long there too. All of those little edges, I can put that behind a little pocket pail and that'll work perfectly. Okay. So here we go. We're almost done with card number 2. Try and get that kind of in the same place. Same place, did I say? Center is what I was thinking in my head. My mouth said something entirely different. So I'm looking in the camera, just moving it ever so slightly to have it be centered. There you go. So now we have 2 cards done tonight. One for mom, one for dad. Very feminine, very masculine, and customized. Absolutely perfect. You know, everything that I have on these cards, you know, if my mom were to read this card, she would know it was from me and she would know what this sentiment meant from me because there's something in there from everybody. We tried to make them so that they could be personal for you. This one here is all about my dad. These are the things I know about him. So, you know, look to these sets. I'm sure there's something in there for you that you could use for that special person in your life as well. I absolutely love these sets. I think they're absolutely just gorgeous, fantastic. So, alrighty, we're going to go ahead and switch the camera. And I'm going to find my giveaway. All right. Whew. So I'm so sorry we ran over today, but it was kind of bound to happen with 2 cards, right, from start to finish. So I hope you guys enjoyed those. I don't know if you can tell how much I love it, but I love collaging and stacking with these stamps. I think it's so much fun, and I think it's different. You know, it's just, for me, it's a little bit of a challenge too, you know, learning how to do it, figuring it out, having fun with it, and doing something that's different than the cards that everybody else is making, to be honest with you. So I think it's just beautiful. So, all right, time for a giveaway, and we're going to give away actually one of the Natural Granite background stamps because this should be in everybody's craft stash. This is an absolute dream to craft with, whether you're doing something with a masculine card or if you're doing any kind of a scene or a background, or if you just want a little bit of texture. I mean, you could be doing something with florals, and maybe instead of a splatter paint in the back, you just want to ink a little bit of this texture in the back, and it's stunning. So it's a universal stamp set. Don't let the word granite make you think that you can only use it in certain situations. It's a phenomenal background stamp. So this is going to be the giveaway, and the giveaway person, Alan just dropped it on, or the winner, Alan just dropped it, is Tess Hank or Hanke, H-A-N-K-E. Tess, you are the winner tonight. Congratulations. Tess, I need you to please send your complete name and mailing address to customerservice@ldrscreative.com, and we will get your granite stamp out to you right away. Yay! Congratulations, Tess. Awesome. Well, thank you everybody so much for sticking with me. I'm certain we dropped some people off a little while ago, but but thank you for everybody who stuck with me. I hope you guys enjoyed these. And I hope you're going to love these sets as much as I do. And don't forget, if yours arrives and when yours arrives, if you've already ordered it, know that those stamps that I told you we're going to be replacing, and if you joined late and you don't know what I'm talking about, watch back in the beginning. There's 3 stamps in there we're going to be sending you replacements for because we had a little manufacturing glitch. So, but we will get those off to you as soon as we get them in the mail. So everybody, let's see, I think that is it. So we're going to sign off. Oh, mark your calendar, by the way. May 9th is an HSN show day, and I will be in Florida for that. So we've got some really fun things. And I think next Thursday we're going to be showing you what we've got, what our new kits are going to be on HSN. So join us next week. Have a great night. Have a fantastic weekend. We'll see you next week. Same time, same place. Bye, everybody.